Where do we drop off?
Talking about him going to college. Oh, you said
You
he had a car.
Well, no, you said you were average student and you were in a fraternity. What was a fraternity?
Oh, yeah.
Sigma Phi Epsilon.
Did they have a fraternity house?
Yes.
Did you live there?
Yes. Sometime.
Was it a pretty much of a party fraternity? Or?
Yeah.
That's why he was just an average student.
Right, exactly.
Were you a frat boy?
Yes.
Where was it on? Was it on Frat Row there, or is that where the house was, or?
Yeah, it was. I forget the name of the street, but
Because when I was there, they weren't on campus. They had just started up again, and they didn't even have a house or anything.
who? Sigma Phi Epsilon.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think.
I don't
Why,
know.
they got banned
I think
for
they
being
had been
bad?
banned. Yeah, I think so.
Do you remember any initiations or anything that you had to do to get into it? I don't know
I
much
think we
about
got
that.
it paddled. Symbol.
I remember you told me once you had to sit on ice block or something naked
Wow.
or something like that.
I don't remember that.
Oh.
And can you help me with the question?
Let's see. Well, college life is your domain.
Yeah.
Did Paul go to University of Maryland?
Paul went to University
Hey
of Maryland.
guys, why don't you go back in the bedroom and play that?
Did he graduate?
Yeah. Got a graduate. Paul, you got graduated in business, right?
Right.
Dad, what was your major?
Teacher. I was.
Oh, you were a teacher?
Industrial arts.
Uh-huh.
So did you go when you got out of college? Did you live? Well, you lived in the frat house. You said fraternity house. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Did you? You went right into the service after that?
Yes.
Do you remember if you moved home first? Do you remember coming back home after moving out of college, packing all your stuff and?
I don't remember that.
Were you drafted or did you
Enlist.
I enlisted because I was going to get drafted.
Okay.
You get more of a choice if you enlist on what you want to do, or?
I guess they gave me a choice that I could enlist for 2 years.
Oh.
Because there was a war. Was that during the Korean War or?
What year was it? Would this have been?
This was in
52?
51
Yeah.
or 52.
I don't know what.
I
don't
think
know
the
what
Korean
history-
War was going on
I think it was too.
at one point. Let me look.
What did you do when you were in the service? What was your job? Where were you stationed? Remember?
Yes. I remember I was stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia. One place.
You were in Fort Knox, too, weren't you?
Huh?
Fort Knox? You can speak loud, Mom.
Yeah, Fort Knox, Kentucky.
And then you were in Aberdeen.
Oh, you were at Aberdeen, too?
Just briefly.
It says here the Korean War was June 25th, 1950 to July 27th, 1953.
Okay, so the war was on.
The war was on.
Yeah.
Were you going to go overseas? You didn't go overseas?
No.
If he had been drafted, he might have.
Yes.
Because you went to college, were you an officer or did you have to go to officer candidate school?
Let me see. I don't remember that. I did go to officers candidate school.
You did? I thought you did.
I did?
Something. I remember you said something about you breaking your teeth or something,
Oh,
and that's why
Was that in the service?
that was in the service. I
Yeah.
think
Well,
you were
yes.
going into officer candidate school, but you broke your teeth, so they had to delay you or something.
He was
Yeah.
in an automobile accident and knocked his front teeth out.
Oh, my goodness.
You
Well, I
were-
want to hear about the automobile accident, too, if you can remember that.
What?
Mom
You were in
said,
a car accident, Mom said, and you knocked your front teeth out. Do you remember the car accident?
No.
Do you remember anything about it, Mom?
I didn't know him then, but maybe he liked me.
Maybe you got him knocked out.
I thought you probably slipped in the shower or something.
No.
Huh. You don't remember the trauma of, think about it. Had your
I think.
front teeth knocked out or broken off, do you know?
I think you were knocked out.
I know he had to have new teeth.
Well,
Right,
even if they
right.
were broken, they might have done that.
Yeah.
Pulled the rest of them.
I don't know.
Huh.
I don't remember that. I honestly don't.
He's blocked it.
Yeah, it was traumatic.
Right.
It was traumatic,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Because I think that's why you. I remember you said before. That's why you didn't go overseas
Right.
because
I think
you were in that accident.
Right.
Sean doesn't know how to play Guess Who, and he doesn't think that
And I think maybe the accident. What kind of accident? was
Car
it?
accident.
I think maybe that was made up. I don't know.
You were living with Betty then.
Betty knocked him out.
Who's Betty?
Yes,
I
who's
know.
He
Betty?
doesn't know who Betty was, but she used to call him after we got married.
Oh, really?
But, and you they
she
were
was
living
what?
together?
Yeah, well, after we got married, yeah.
What? Betty would call him. Were you were living with Betty?
I don't
We
remember
lived
Betty.
together back then so
Right.
much
Well,
I didn't
think you
think.
did.
Hey guys.
Another room, guys.
They're being quiet.
Well, they won't be quiet for long, I can guarantee you that.
I don't think I lived with any Betty.
Remind him who Betty is, Mom.
I don't know anything about Betty except
really?
that she used to call him after we got married.
You don't know what her last name was or where he knew her from or anything?
No, but I sure didn't like it when she called
I
him.
bet.
And where?
That's when we lived in Haverty Grace. She, right after we got married.
And when did you get married? What year did you get married?
56.
So, how long were you?
56?
You were in the service for 2 years.
Was it
Yes.
56 or 55? Because Kim was born in 50,
I was born in 57, so.
and I was not pregnant when we got married.
Thanks for clarifying that.
It was just an extremely long pregnancy.
But we got married in January of 56, and you were born in February of 57.
Speak up.
Reminding him.
You were born in you were married in January '56.
And I was born 13 months later.
And where did you get? When did you get out of the service? After 2 years?
Yes.
And you?
In fact, they may have let me out a month or two early just to get rid of me.
Well,
Were you a good soldier?
Yeah.
were you? What was the highest rank you obtained?
I guess it's PFC. I'm not sure.
You were.
You also worked in the theater.
Huh?
You worked in the theater.
Where
Oh,
where
yeah.
was that?
In the military?
In Main Post Theater
Uh-huh.
Where? And where?
in Fort Benning, Georgia.
Huh. And you drove tanks too, right?
Yes.
Or you did you drove the tank or you rode in the tank?
I drove the tank.
Okay. What kind of tank was it?
M4,
Yeah,
I think.
I think that's what it was. So you got out of the service when the war was still going on, then maybe, or was the war over? Do you recall?
I think the war was over, but
Okay.
I couldn't swear to that.
Yeah.
You
Did-
speak up.
Did you have going back to the past before college? Did you have any jobs when you were in school?
Paper
Yes.
route. Oh,
No,
I
no,
know.
Gas station.
Right.
Oh, gas station, yeah. I pumped gas. In fact, there's a picture
Yep, I've seen the picture.
around here.
What year was that? Do you think?
I don't know. I always had, I think most of the time I was working at a gas station.
Yeah. How old were you? I don't remember.
Don't remember.
He looked like he was about 15 in the picture,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Was it a friend of the family's gas station or was it a real job?
It was a real job.
Gas was 20 cents a gallon, I think, wasn't
Oh
it?
my goodness. Jeez.
Yeah, that's right. We got pictures with, you can see the,
I see the price.
yeah.
Was it? So when you were growing up, you always had indoor plumbing.
Oh, yes.
You never had to go out to the outhouse.
No.
Well, I got some more growing up questions.
Okay, go.
When you were growing up, now I don't know if you can remember. I'm talking about when you lived in Bainbridge or Perryville, but also in Haverty Grace. Did you guys have money? Were you poor?
First of all, I never lived in Bainbridge.
Oh, well, what? How come we talk about Bainbridge sometimes?
Because it's over in Cecil County, but I I don't know why.
Did you go to school there or something?
Yeah, I went
Okay.
to Perryville.
Okay, all right. Well, Perryville. Do you remember much about life in Perryville? I mean, did you guys? A lot of times you don't know if you, when you're a kid, whether you got money or you don't have money. But do you think you were poor, or were you middle class?
I was
or?
middle. We were middle class
Uh-huh.
because mother was a teacher,
Okay, so she was teaching
and,
then,
and Dad had a business of
Right.
his own.
right?
And your dad worked at the A&P store or something?
Huh?
Your
Work-
dad worked at the A&P store?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that too.
During when he had his own business, that was like part time.
No, I worked at the MP before he
Before the
got
Tom's
his-
truck?
Yeah.
Do you remember when he had the Tom's truck? Do you remember being able to go on the truck and get candy, peanuts?
I don't remember that.
I do when I was a kid,
Oh,
going
yeah?
on the truck and getting peanut bars. Oh, let's see. What about when you were in Haverty Grace? Do you remember, like, what kind of things you had to eat? What kind of what was life like back then that you can remember? Were you there wasn't okay? What year would that have been? Did you guys have a TV set that you can remember?
I think so.
Or listen to the radio? Do you remember sitting around? Mom said she remembers sitting around listening to the radio when she was young. Do you remember? Did you guys do that? Do you know?
I don't
Let me
remember.
see. It would have been in the late 40s.
So, well, you were. I'm gonna change it. Go back a little bit
okay, yeah,
further.
go.
Well, you were born in 1930. And when was the Depression? That was in 1936 or something like that.
I don't remember.
When was the Depression?
I think it was like 1936 until the war, or something. 35 or. I think the stock market crashed in 1936 or something. Or I don't know. Actually, now I don't remember. But do you remember things being really bad at that time, or
No, I
didn't
don't
really
remember.
affect you guys?
No.
It kind of seems like that Dad said in the past that they felt the effects of the Depression.
Yeah.
Did you have ration stamps and stuff?
Yeah, I still got some.
Wow.
Yep. We had ration stamps
Talk
for
louder.
Speak up.
ration stamps for gasoline.
Oh, okay.
Didn't you have it for sugar?
Sugar too.
I don't remember that. Probably did.
Sugar.
But you don't remember. Do you remember any like talk of the war, or when you were growing up, or because you would have been about 10 or 13 years old, or 15, 14, and you're
But I don't remember. I don't remember it.
because when was TV invented?
I don't know. When I met Paul, he was still. Their family had never had a color TV before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was like, "Wow, you're still watching black and white?" And that was like 1981 or something. 82.
I think TV was invented well before
I
that.
know, but not remote controls. I remember our first remote
Yeah.
control. And like, wow.
Right. So you don't remember much about the wartime, or you just remember you had ration stamps and stuff
Yeah,
like that,
right.
and you don't remember when the war was over.
Do you remember any of your neighbors being in the war, or any of your friends or granddaddy, grandmother's friends or anything?
I
Tell them
can't.
about the house you grew up in Perryville.
Huh?
The house in Perryville.
It's normal.
A double house next
Oh,
to
it was a
the...
double house,
Okay.
and we rented one side of it. It was a big house.
Okay. A duplex.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we rented from the people next door, I guess. It was,
So you rented from them.
yeah.
You didn't rent from
Oh,
you.
yeah.
And that was in Perryville.
Yes.
So the first house that you guys.
Well, I was in a little community called Aiken. It was just north of Perryville.
Okay.
I wonder if the woman that lived there, if she rented to them, maybe she watched Dad if grandmother was, because he probably, well, depending on how long grandmother had been teaching, you probably, once you got to be about 13, 12, you probably were staying by yourself.
I don't
I don't
remember
know.
any of that.
It would have only been in the
She's-
summertime. It would have been.
I remember She was older though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wasn't it the funeral director that you rented the house from?
Funeral
Yeah, that
director?
sounds something.
Yeah.
And you
but-
all were sort of poor because you never had milk, and you would go next door to your friend's house so you could get a glass of milk.
I don't remember
Go have
that.
dinner with them. It's not been long since you talked about that.
Really?
Well, next door neighbor was who?
He just died. Joan was telling me he just died.
Hmm?
Yeah, I remember.
Joan said he just died.
Who was your friend that you?
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
What, if he had a friend that lived next door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk about when y'all go down to the tracks. Pennies on the tracks.
Pennies were a lot of money back then.
I used to go down there and shine shoes.
Oh, that's
For
where
what?
to the train station or
Yeah, because the soldier or the sailors would come in there, and contrary to everybody's belief, they wore white shoes. They didn't, or my belief anyway.
so you had to
Yeah, I had a. Do I still have the
I think
one of
you-
those shoe sign? It's about this long.
I
Was it a
remember-
little wooden box?
Yeah.
I remember you had it when I was
It
growing
fell
up.
apart.
Oh,
Huh?
okay.
Oh, it did?
just fell apart, yeah.
Fell apart.
So you were.
I built that.
No wonder.
How much did it cost? How much did you get for shiny shoes?
Oh, I don't remember. Let me see. Wasn't much, like 5 or 10 cents or
Yeah.
something like that.
Did so you grew up? You Joan was like your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were guys close? You saw each other a lot?
Well, yeah, she lived in Rising Sun, and we used to go up there like maybe
Every weekend
every weekend, was it?
to your grandmother's.
Or I guess it did.
Grandmother and Aunt Ibby get along? I mean, because Joan was Aunt Ibby, so.
Yeah.
Did they get along?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, grandmother and Aunt Evie were mother and daughter.
What?
Oh,
No,
We're talking-
I'm talking about my grandma.
Grandmother.
yes, they got along too. She loved.
I
She
found a
loved.
cup. What do you mean?
And what were you? Go on, Kim.
Let's see. Oh yeah, did you have any pets?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Here,
see.
so no more. You cannot just put.
Yes, I had a little dog named Skippy.
What kind of dog was it?
Skippy was a terrier.
I know it. He looked like a Jack Russell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a picture.
Yeah.
I thought his name was Jenny.
Huh?
I thought your dog's name was Jenny for some reason.
James?
Jenny.
Jenny. I gotta get
I
this.
think I maybe had one named Jenny too.
Was it a dog or did you have any cats?
No,
No.
we were a dog family.
Give me a picture of last night.
And how old were you when you had your dog?
I don't recall.
I mean, under 10 or 10 to 15? Were you living in Perryville or Harvey Grace?
Living at Perryville. Best I recall.
So when they bought their house,
Talk louder, Jack.
Huh?
Talk louder.
Okay.
Okay,
How
so-
about when your dog died?
yeah, what about your dog Diane?
You have to remind me because
Why don't you sit over there, Mom, so we can hear you better. We won't put you on camera yet.
I didn't want you to hear me
Yeah.
better.
I wanna
thought
hear
I
you.
was trying to be quiet. So
No,
you
I
didn't
wanted to
hear
hear
me.
you.
Sometimes you'd be loud.
You were on. You had just gotten on the school bus, and the bus hit her or something. Hit the dog,
oh,
and you had to go on to school.
Aw.
Yeah.
just barely remember it. I wiped it out of my memory.
Like the car accident.
See, I know more about him, and he knows more about us.
You can stay there, Mom.
Okay.
Get over here, closer.
No, you didn't want me on.
Okay, I'm gonna get you both. Get in there now. Because now. Okay. I'm gonna get this.
Stick my big foot up there.
Yeah.
You don't get the bottoms of us anyway.
No, I only got your from
Okay.
your neck up, or from your shoulders up. I'm gonna try to get closer so you can. Okay. And then, how did you guys meet?
I was working in Howard Johnson's as a waitress
Yes.
Where?
in Haverty Grace.
On Route 40.
On Route 40 there.
Yeah.
And then what? Dad would come in
And
there.
he would come in there. He was one of his friends, Nancy Callahan, had told me about this beautiful guy she was dating.
It was him?
It was him. And so he came in and we just hit it off. And
Yeah.
she was sort of upset with me for a while.
So you kind of stole her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Do you remember Nancy Callahan, Dad?
Yeah.
And
I don't remember much about her. But
Yeah. Was she a waitress there also?
No, she just would come in there. I don't know. She and I were friends. I worked at the telephone office before I worked at Howard Johnson's.
Okay. Where was the telephone office?
Down on Stokes Street.
What did you do? Was
in
it an
Haverty
operator?
Grace. Yeah, I was telephone operator.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do? The little plug in the things? And, wow. How long did you do that?
Let's see, 53. A couple of years, I guess.
Yeah.
Year and a half, maybe.
And then why did you leave there to go to the Howard Johnson's?
I got fired.
From the phone company? Why? Listening on somebody's
No.
call?
I
For
knew that.
letting my friends have free calls.
Was it traumatic? Do you remember?
I guess it was. I don't really remember being upset, but I'm sure it was. Because I loved the job.
Yeah. Where were you living at the time?
I lived with Rena on, what is the name of that street? I lived with Rena for a while, and I lived across the street from Rena.
In your own house or your own
No,
apartment?
I rented a room across the street with,
nice house.
And where's that? Happy Grace?
yes, everything was Haverty Grace.
Was Rena married to Ben at the time?
Yes,
So you lived with Rena and Ben?
for a while, yes.
Okay. And then you got your own room.
And I also lived with a girlfriend, a couple of different girlfriends. Lived over Montgomery Ward in Haverty Grace with Kathy McVeigh.
Well, Kathy McVeigh. Kathy, not that McVeigh.
No.
No.
I didn't know there wasn't over Montgomery Ward. Where was
There was
the
an
mall
apartment
wasn't there then.
Where
Oh,
was
this
Mon-
was in Haverty Grace.
Happy Grace.
Oh.
Where was Montgomery Ward's?
It was up the upper end of the street on the left.
Uh-huh.
We had a little refrigerator that fit under the counter. I remember that.
And where were you living then, Dad?
Didn't know him then.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, was he...
I was either at college or living at home.
After the military? This is after the service.
Oh, after the service?
I mean, I guess, when you guys met, he had already been in the Army, right, Mom?
Yes, yeah.
I'm sure I probably lived with Mother and Dad.
Yeah.
You did.
So he was living with...
I remember your phone number.
What was it?
939-954. No, it wasn't 939. It was 954J.
954J.
Do you remember grandmother's phone number?
WE9 1983.
Yeah, 939-1983.
You remember it too?
Yeah, I don't know WE, but I knew
Well, that was Westmore. That meant Westmore.
That meant 93.
93. Do you remember?
I didn't know I knew it until just then.
Okay, it's time to
I want to know.
interview your mom.
Well, we are
We
doing
are.
that right now, but
It's sort of.
We're kind of...
yeah, I
we're
want to
gonna
know.
go back
Do you remember?
to get to the time she came to Maryland.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed this because I was in there with the
Right.
girls. But did you talk to Dad about his memories of meeting Mom?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, so what? Do you remember, Dad?
The first time you met Mom?
I guess it was the first time when she was working at Howard Johnson's.
But do you remember how crazy you were about me?
Did you remember thinking, that's a hot girl?
I don't remember anything, but probably somebody else does.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Where'd you guys go on your first date? You remember that?
Most likely to the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember? You don't remember what
I don't
movies
remember.
were playing at that time? What year was that? This was 19...
55.
So how long did you date before you got married, or before he proposed?
About 7 months.
Yeah.
Did he
You
propose to you?
You're not
Do you
smiling
remember-
when you say that, Mom.
Well, I'm thinking.
Do you remember him asking you if you wanted to get married, or if you would marry him, or
No, we just started talking about it.
yeah?
And
Did you continue to work after you guys got married, or did you quit working then? You got pregnant quickly, but do you remember if you worked?
I didn't work at Howard Johnson's. Then I worked after we were married. I worked for a savings and loan
Oh, really?
in Haverty Grace.
doing what?
Doing taxes.
Taxes. Go to another. Get your DS, Sean. I don't know where.
I really didn't do the form work. I would add up their everything they needed.
Yeah. And what were you doing, Dad? You were teaching school, or
I guess it was.
where were you teaching?
Edgewood?
Is that where the only place you taught was at Edgewood?
Yes.
Yeah. So he was a teacher when you met him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you're living in Haverty Grace and going to Edgewood to teach.
We had an apartment on Ontario Street, an upstairs apartment.
These good memories. Do you remember? I mean, what feelings do they invoke when you think about your Ontario Street?
I remember
how-
those long steps,
Yeah. Do you remember long steps? too, Mom,
outside steps
to get up to it.
The apartment just went straight through the living room and on down the hall to the right was the kitchen, and then the bathroom, and then the bedroom, straight on back.
Yeah. One bedroom.
Do you remember how much you paid for it?
$50 a month,
And did you have a telephone?
I guess.
She worked for the phone company, kid.
Well,
She had
but she was a
connections.
fire
We didn't
phone
have
company.
television then, but when we'd been married about 3 months, he got a black and white television,
Yeah.
and I thought that was great,
Is that
You thought it was what?
wonderful.
you had seen television before?
Yeah, but not much.
And you probably got like 2 channels.
I don't remember.
So that was the first
Yes.
TV you had?
Yeah, the blonde cabinet.
Oh yeah, I sort of remember.
I kind of. Did you
That's
come?
hard to say. Did you guys keep that when you moved here? I remember
don't
blonde,
know.
some
I
blonde
remember
furniture.
blonde furniture here.
Yeah.
We might have.
And then I remember that black TV. The black and white TV.
So, how long had you been married? When did you move to Edgewood? Is that the next place you moved from Haverty Grace to Edgewood?
You were 8 months old, I think.
So, I was born I was born when you lived in the Ontario Street house.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember seeing pictures of you sitting out in the yard on a blanket?
Yeah, that's where that was. Okay.
No, he's playing with it right now. Yours is red. Where's yours?
And do you remember going to look at places in Edgewood? Where you decided to move to Edgewood, I guess, because that's where Dad was working. And
I don't know. Those apartments were available, and they were pretty.
They were up there
apartments.
behind Blaine Field, that baseball field.
right,
Yeah.
they were down near the intersection of Willoughby Beach Road, kind of
Right,
down
right.
that road.
And-
On Edgewood Road there.
Do you remember? Well, I mean, were you happy at this time, or were you like, oh, why did I marry him?
She was starting to think he was a cheapskate already, I think.
On our honeymoon.
Well, that's when you started.
Don't embarrass me now.
Too late.
We had gone the next morning. We had gone for breakfast at a diner or something, and they had the jukeboxes on the table,
Yeah.
and I wanted to play a song, and it only cost a nickel, and he wouldn't give it to me.
Oh no.
Are you sure about
Oh, how could I forget?
At that time, were you doubting yourself?
I don't know what I thought, but I probably wasn't really, but I don't know what I thought I
I
was.
mean, at that time, you didn't think you were going to be married for how long have you been married now?
Well, we were married in '56.
56. So it's been 56 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So that must have been traumatic if she still remembers it, Dad.
Right.
Well, there must have been another reason. Either could be because we couldn't hear it good.
That wasn't true.
I think it was. Yeah.
I wouldn't have wanted to listen to a song I couldn't hear.
Dad's always been. I
Yeah.
mean, he's a saver.
Yeah.
And you were always.
Is that what you call it?
Huh?
Is that what you call it?
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean,
Well, he has done well, and he's taught me something about saving money.
that's why you can. That's why you're living fairly well right now, because you saved that nickel.
You got it.
That was the beginning.
And so, what did your family think of him, or what did your friends think of Dad?
Oh, they all thought he was gorgeous and so nice. But I think his family always thought he married below himself.
Do you think is that true, Dad?
No.
You always felt bad, but you always thought grandmother didn't like you. Will you go charge her?
Oh, and the whole Cooney family, I felt like that. And I still think that Joan thinks he married beneath himself. Because we didn't have a wedding. It was rather embarrassing when you were showing her pictures of when we got married and stuff. I wish we hadn't taken that book. That still bothers me. It bothers me that I didn't get to go to college when we were around all his friends and my friends
Yeah.
too. When they talk about what college they went to and things they did in college, it makes me uncomfortable.
Huh. You should. I mean, why didn't you have a wedding, a big wedding?
We didn't have any money.
Well, I mean, that's a good, valid reason. I mean, I don't. Not a lot of people had big weddings back those times. I
Well,
think.
Joan got married shortly after we did, and she had a gigantic wedding.
Well, Uncle Ted had more money, and
and had a big wedding and
who's Ann now? Ann is.
a
Don't,
Cooney.
don't kick that anymore, please.
I don't see. I remember when you were always thinking grandmother thought less of you, or
I don't remember that.
Really, I don't remember that.
I remember you saying that,
Well, I
and
probably,
maybe after she died you said it. I don't know, but I don't think.
but I think she loved me. But I think that she was such a gracious woman that she would never have done anything to offend me or said anything to offend me. But I guess it was just my own insecurities because he was a school teacher and I hadn't gone to college
Yeah.
and his friends were all educated and I wasn't. And it was just my insecurities.
I think so.
I can understand that.
Yeah, but I don't think. I don't think Joan has.
Oh, yes.
Well, I think Joan maybe on everybody. Looks down at everybody.
Right.
I don't think it's you in particular.
Yeah, well, she feels that way about a lot of
All
people.
right, now
Yeah.
she's going to see this.
No, she won't. We'll edit that part out.
Okay.
Is something wrong with your computer?
We can edit. And so, okay, so you guys were married. You.
We got married on Friday the 13th.
That's
Does that
right.
tell you anything?
Well, it's 56 years later, so 56 and a half years later.
It tells you that there's no validity to the Friday the 13th being a bad,
or it's really bad.
bad omen.
You've been paying for it for 56 years.
Yeah.
Well, is there any freelance stuff you guys can think of to throw in there?
Okay, why don't you start interviewing her?
We will.
Right,
but-
our
Well,
child.
There's nothing much to
I
tell.
don't. There's got to be. Okay, let me think.
Okay.
I remember when Dad was a teacher, and let's see.
I know we didn't have money to buy a loaf of bread until he'd get paid. I
Living
think it only
paycheck to
cost a
paycheck.
dime then.
I don't remember.
You're living paycheck to paycheck.
And what year was that when
56.
that was?
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, let me just pause.